Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. A previously unknown portrait of Harriet Tubman was unveiled today at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The founding director of the museum, Dr. Lonnie Bunch, he did the honors, and so check it out.
2, 3. Oh, it's gorgeous. A woman.
Now the picture is from the 1860s when Tubman was about 40 years old. Now, most of the photos we see of Harriet Tubman when she was much older and she was frail. This is a very rare photo of Harriet Tubman when she's about 40 years old. If you want to view the photograph and visit the museum, visitors may walk up for entry without a pass Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. each weekday. That's, of course, a new time. No passes needed after 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, and so we certainly appreciate that. You know, I'll tell you right now, I have been, I've been to the museum several times. I've only been able to get through about 3 floors because for me as a student of history, I actually enjoy. I mean, I take my time and I'm really taking it in. And with people wanting selfies and stuff along those lines, you know, you can't. And so I need to go back to finish the other 7 floors. But it really is amazing when you look at the artifacts that are in there, but also the things that you just didn't know.
You know, the economic history that's enshrined there is fascinating around the all-black towns. I mean, I thought I knew black economic history, and when you go down those lower floors, you just keep getting hit upside the head. One of my sisters came to D.C., and when they had the time passes, she said, give me a pass for every day. And literally, she went to the museum like it was her job. She went 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, she's leaving the house. She was in line, and every day she was there all day. So I think she finally got it all. But one day she came back, and she's like, don't talk to me. And I said, what you mean don't talk to you? You living in my house. But basically, the emotion was just so overcome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I lost it at Emmett Till's casket. I lost it. I mean, I literally lost it. I just slid down to the floor and cried. Just the power of it. Everybody needs to see it. Roland.
I mean, it is the most visited, since it's open, it's the most visited Smithsonian Museum in the nation's capital.
It's so important. It's so important for our people to understand that history. And it's so important for these ignorant white people, you lift them up every now and then, to see something like this. Lock them in there overnight. You know,
Michael.
It's incredible. I'm like you, Roland. I've been, I don't know how many times I've been, but you can't see everything. I don't care how many times you go. And I took my niece and a couple of her friends, and I saw something interesting. I think you need to start chronologically. You can start
on the bottom, go to the bottom, and then come up.
And their concept of our peoples seems to start at Martin Luther King. Yes. They don't seem to have that conceptually before that.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, no, we're going to stay down here a little longer. I mean, they clearly know the word slavery, know what it means, but it's the Dr. King world.
And it's primarily because of how our schools have treated black history as if it somehow just starts there. But also, the reality is, our history also goes before 1619 as well.
I'm sorry, real quick, on the Harriet Tubman thing, are they going to use that picture now on the 20? Or they're going to stick with the old?
Of course, as long as you have a love of white supremacy,
it's not going to happen.
White supremacy sitting in the Oval Office. Trust me, that's not going to happen. Because remember, his favorite president was Andrew Jackson, of course, who was not a fan of black people or Native Americans at all. So, Robert.
Well, I think the importance of this is understanding that we have a more complex and layered history than what's often taught to us in school. Where, similar to what you say, you know, I call it the Black History fairy tale, where they say, well, you know, Rosa Parks and Abraham Lincoln met together with Dr. King one day, and then Barack Obama was president. And that's the way they teach.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's why they teach our kids our history. So having floor after floor, exhibit after exhibit, I think it's be mandatory. Like 4-year summer vacation to take a drop by and read these things, see these things. And I had an aunt who was born in 1888, died in 1996, grew up with her, and she could show us pictures of people who were slaves. So it's writing
Right.
for people who were, it made it all real to us. It wasn't roots, it wasn't television, it wasn't this disambiguous dark term of
Yep.
slavery. These were human beings. And seeing Harriet Tubman in her 40s as a young, dynamic woman, understanding the humanity in her eyes and what it took for her to fight through those consequences, I think it can inspire this generation, as we were talking about earlier with the young people and activists, to know your fight goes on.
And I want to say this here, and only because, you know, it's one of those things that most people don't know, and that is when the funding was approved for this museum, Republicans were in control of the House. And they were going back and forth, and initially, then Congressman J.C. Watts, his name was on the bill. And they were going back and forth, and Democrats said, no, we want John Lewis's name on the bill. And white Republicans were adamant, no, we're going to have J.C. Watts. J.C. Watts took his name off. And J.C. Watts said, the museum is more important than me having my name on it. Put Congressman John Lewis's name on the bill, and that's how the bill went through. And it's just important for us to that's just a little small point that, again, that could have got hung up. The initial money could have got hung up if his ego had gotten in the way. But he simply said, no, the museum is more important than that. Fine, take my name off, put Congressman Lewis's name on, let's move forward.
That's such a great example of some of the bipartisanship that some of the black Republicans will exhibit from time to time. Not consistently, but from time to time. Tim Scott, South Carolina, from time to time will step up.
Well, which is also why I keep telling black people, look, the reality is you have places where, look, Republicans were in control of the House and the Senate. You better know somebody on the other side. And I would rather be able to know J.C. Watts then, or Gary Franks, or Will Hurd, or Tim Scott. You might disagree on 9 out of 10 things, but you may have that one thing you do agree with. But I'd rather have somebody on the other side who I can at least talk to, who know a little something about what I go through, than somebody who's like, I don't know what the hell you're even talking about. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. I was calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders. Enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant of up to $25,000 to implement their proposal. The deadline to apply is March 31st, 2019. Go to FGB.Life. That's F right there, FGB.Life for more information and to apply. Ford goes further in our community. We certainly thank Ford for being a partner of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.